Currently have 42 cents in the Professional Poker League, ranked 194. Goes beginner, amateur, expert, elite, professional, veteran, all-star, master, challenger, champion, world class, legendary. So must get smaller each league you go up to. So I played 24,532 hands. I win 27.47% of the time, and of those winning hands, I win 73 cents per hand. That's my moniker, the most feared player. I try to live up to it. I raise about 20.5% of the time. I fold 28.5% of the time. So this isn't a really good table. I'm gonna see how it goes, but actually I'm gonna go to another table. The guy to my left had $8, and the guy beside him had $6. So my 40 cents is likely to get called by, could be any garbage hand. At least at this table now, there's some small stacks. There's still one big stack, but because you can't always wait for a hand. Sometimes you have to create your own luck. So the player that just joined the table's pretty good. Or at least should be. Level 5 while he left. I was hoping he would stay. Anytime I can play against the higher ranked player at a smaller chip table, the better. Because then I'm getting in my reps against higher caliber players for less money. So ideally, once I climb up to the higher level tables, I won't be a fish. He's the one I'm worried about. I think he has it. I think he has the jack. Good luck me if it will go all in. I don't like it. It's a 6 kicker, but at least it's suited. Could be a short video. Not looking the greatest. Especially like that. So I was a favorite, so that was unfortunate. Got lucky with 2 hands. I was the favorite twice, and it held up twice, so that was nice. it turned 40 cents into $1.74 pretty quick. But this player right here is likely to go all in. If you know they're going all in and you don't plan on calling, don't call the small bet. You're just going to waste your bet. You get crowned sometimes. That's an unfortunate river. This site's called Poker Hit. Didn't believe him that time and I was wrong, which is unfortunate. Good luck me. Go to the lobby here for a second, because one thing about the site I don't like is when you're at the table you can't see how much you have left in your stack, so if you don't remember it's easy to forget. So $1.69. because I play a little bit differently when I have risking it all rather than risking some. It's a nice size pot for this table, for this blind limit. Good thing the spade didn't come. Call. Poker's sometimes like cold water. You gotta ease into it. Feel out your opponent. Pay attention when you're not in hands. They usually reflect quite a bit about themselves. Somebody has the 7. Quite possibly the queen, but I think he might add the 7. Or jack. I don't like my kicker, but here we go. That was super unlucky. If you play this site, you could get 2 million pretty quick, but once you get up to professional, it's hard to get the 7 million every day. So you're better off saving up the 2 million, because the prizes go, you could get up to $7. The most I've ever gotten was $1.40 though, so it's kind of rigged. I get lots of crowns and the 30 minutes, but I've never gotten a $3.50 or $7. So I watched a bunch of ads, and I now have 47 cents. You get 2 cents per ad. It's a pretty cool thing about this website. They give you a little bit of money anyways, unless you're a beginner or amateur. But I don't like this. You can activate your crown booster faster. So I'm going to skip that. It means that people could pay to get ahead. So the league rankings aren't really authentic. Because I'm never going to pay. So that means I'm never going to reach as high as somebody that does play with the same level of skill as me. So it means I'll never be legendary, because I would have to compete against people that are paying. So all I could do is be the best non-payer player and the best non-cheat. Because a few years ago, probably 7 years ago now, I was on a picnic table talking to my mom. She lived in Denmark, and I was laying there on the picnic table looking up at the blue sky, and then next thing you know, the floater on my eye looked like a battery. So it's nanotechnology eye cameras. And our thoughts are just sounds that we hear, and it's no different than a dog whistle. You know how they have the dog whistles where you whistle it, we don't hear it, but dogs can. So people figured out that dogs could hear that frequency. So with hearing thoughts, people have figured out how to hear that frequency and amplify it and hear remotely. That was unfortunate that he raised. Not looking the greatest, but the good thing about poker is there's, once you have chips, you can always get back to it. You can win a couple hands in a row, double or double up. If all 4 of them call for 19 cents, next thing you know, I have almost $1. And if I double up after that, then I would have $2. So you can go from the poorhouse to the penthouse pretty fast. So hopefully somebody has to flush. Since I would have won with the King 9 or Queen 9, it's unlikely that the Ace 3 is going to win. It may be the best hand once we see it, but I think somebody's going to beat it. If you win 2 legitimate hands in a row, and then on the 3rd hand you get pocket aces, there's a good probability that you're going to lose that hand. Not all the time. Sometimes you get lucky. But that's, like, legitimately, that's very rarely. You win 3 hands in a row, usually you stole a couple pots. Or maybe got lucky for 2 of them and earned 1 pot.
guess in that scenario with the aces, if I had 1-2 hands in a row legitimately in the third time, depending on if it was a tournament or not, and how much money I had, but I'd possibly jam or fold. I'd want to go all in to eliminate bad hands from calling, so that make them put their money in when they're an underdog. But I wouldn't be surprised if I lost. So you just gotta kind of feel the rhythm that you're in. Some days you're luckier than others. Don't get me wrong, I play the math. But I have room to improve, because to be a perfect poker player, if you were a perfect poker player, you'd be folding your aces 20% of the time pre-flop. And you'd be accurate every time. So it's impossible to be a perfect poker player. I'm gonna have to make a final stand here soon. If he folds, I was gonna jam if he folded, or she folded. That would have worked out. Call. So it's unlikely I'm gonna win. A few chips that probably multiple people are gonna call. So there's gonna be lots of overcards. So I need to hit an 8 or make a straight. It hasn't happened. I could get lucky and win. I'm hoping to, but it's unlikely. Especially with that bet. Usually when you have 2 or more callers with 8s, 9s, 10s, usually you lose. Or smaller than that. Because the more people you call, the more likely they are to have overcards. So if there's two other players, there could be a total of 12 overcards. And then potential straight and flush draws. If there's 3 players, it'd be an extra 6. So it'd be 18 cards. Sometimes you get lucky like I did there. I'm glad I did, but I thought for sure I was losing. If I had more chips, I wouldn't have made that play. Got to be looking at who's aggressive at the table, who's quiet, how frequently do they play, and what position do they play in. Because ideally you treat it like a gas pedal, where sometimes you step on the gas, you're more aggressive, other times you let off the gas, and then sometimes you put on the brakes, put a parachute, and bail out if you're bluffing. Or usually a raise on the river is an indication that they have it. Not all the time, but usually you need something pretty good to beat them. Usually you're trapped. So then, depending on how frequently the player that made that move is, if they're only playing like 1 hand out of every 10, then it's like, okay, but if they're playing every other hand, then it becomes less likely that they have it. Sometimes they have it and they get you. So it depends on your chip size. I'm gonna leave this table. It wasn't advantageous for me to stay there. I only had 54 cents, and everybody else had several dollars. So that means if I went all in, I'm not putting them at risk, really too much risk. So you get a lot of weak calls, which is fine if you have the hand, but if you're trying to bluff, I'm at the same table, or they have $10. Ideally, I would have went to a table where there's a couple players with 40 cents and a couple players with a couple bucks. Because when you don't have many chips, it's like you're in any sport game where you're down by a few points. You can't really open up the playbook too much. Like in football, when you're down by, say, 2 touchdowns, you're pretty much passing. So the defense expecting the pass. So it's easier to stop it. So I like it when I have several dollars, and then at least I can. It's hard to outplay people when you have 50 cents, basically. You could do it, but every bluff is a significant portion of your stack. So you get caught once, then you're crippled. So you pretty much have to wait for a legitimate hand or a scenario where that's advantageous for you. Reading the player. At the casino, you'd be wanting to watch, especially hands. Watching information from people because they don't think you're paying attention because you're not in the hand. So you could usually pick up their calls, especially if they show their cards. If they don't show their cards, you know, but if they end up revealing their cards, then you got to see behind the curtain, so to speak, a little bit. So the more you play with that person, the more you see behind the curtain, the more pieces to the puzzle. And then eventually some players, if you find somebody's talented, you don't want to be hammering. It depends how clueless they are. If they're clueless, every single time they do it, you want to punish them for it. But if they're observant, they're going to pick up on it, so you got to be more selective. Say like 80% of the time you do it. Because that's the great thing about poker is everybody sees the game differently. So there's usually somebody paying attention. So I like right now I'm not highest rank, tied for the highest rank at the table. So there's 3 people that are level 3, and then there's another guy and me that are level 4. That should mean, over the long run, me and Juliet should make fewer mistakes than the other 2 players. So the level 3 players could win the sprint, but they're less likely to win the marathon in poker, which is great. If you're a better player than somebody, you want to play with them as much as possible. Like, there's some players I play against online for heads up. They don't really have heads up for real money, which sucks, because I would love it. Because you get to dissect somebody's game a lot quicker, because people tend to play scenarios the same. So you're able to see behind the curtain, see how they play certain scenarios, and then in a ring game, ideally in a big tournament, $1 million tournament, you have their cipher, basically. You know their strategy, how they play, and then so you know when to fold, when to raise, when to call, when to jam. Some magic. I'm getting bored not playing, so I'm gonna look at a flop. You gotta stay active too, because if you fold too many hands, then when you hit a hand, you're not likely to get called. Nice hand. So he made a pretty great play there. It was unfortunate timing. If I had more chips, I would have played it more cautiously, but took a chance that time and I was wrong. So I currently have 76 cents. So new tables, so trying to figure it out. Trying to handle the higher quality hands, the more respect you get to raise. We have the glad on this app because it means you climbed ranks. Glad I got that on the turn. Just gonna go to the lobby here. I want to check. So I changed my name, by the way, to I do what the math says. I don't mind playing as the shorter chip stack. Ideally a couple bucks. On this site, it's advantageous to sit down with at this prime limit, $6.40. You could get the most crowns. But the unfortunate reality about poker is you could play flawlessly and then one hand or two hands or three hands of bad luck, poor performance. It's all for naught at that point.
So 5-6 is pretty deadly. Bad feeling you might have lots there. Now, does he jam? That's unfortunate. At least they didn't lose both of them.
Sometimes poker's like fishing. When you think the fish is on the hook, you gotta pull and maximize it. Especially if you're not flushed or you're not flush and there's no full house potential. It only comes in a situation all the chips get it. Create a decisive battle when it's advantageous for you. Wanted to call. I was gonna call the 12 cents, but Magnus have the jack or two pairs. Call. Sometimes I give people more credit than what they. I want to call, but King Queen could be a disappointing hand. Especially since that's the first time that Magnus made it. Hoping they don't have the jack. When you're in the profit, you can speculate more in poker. Take more calculated risks. Anything. Somebody wants to flush or the ace. Call. That's awesome. I love it when they do that. So I'm not even gonna chase the straight, because a flush could have me potential full house. Just might as well prevent disappointment. And I would have missed. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I try to play the rhythm of how many hands I've won, how often I show my cards, how likely am I at any random cards to be the winner of that hand. Every once in a while, right? If you're in a tournament, you might be sitting out quite a few hands in a row. Every once in a while, your guy will tell you to play a hand that's the usual loser. But even 70% of the time, so. And that worked out. Is he gonna jam? If I had higher cards, I would have jammed. All I could do is put my money and I have 3 times in a row. With the, that was only a slight favorite, but a favorite. So on this side, instead of calling, you're better off jamming to get crowns. Well, that's the end of this video. Pretty much. So finished with 653. And I'm 157th in the Elite League. So if you're interested in sponsoring me, endorsing me, or making a donation, my email is christianerikarnemeyer@gmail.com. And if you want to have your mind blown, go to www.change.org/technology and read the petition and watch the videos. And if you agree with it, sign it, share it on social media, contribute a few bucks to get it on the agenda in your country. Because the reality is computer-assisted telepathy is possible, and it's being used for nefarious purposes. So if you Google computer-assisted telepathy YouTube, watch this video. Basically, it shows how they're able to influence a yes-no decision over the computer. But people have been able to listen to thoughts for at least the last 82 years. And it's 2024 right now. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a great day.